Right, let's start with some breaking news that's just come in, where the White House has said that the Vice President JD Vance is expected to lead the American delegation for what are being described as some upcoming negotiations with Iran in Pakistan. And it is still midday Tuesday in Washington, and this is what Vance expects it could happen, where he could have meetings with Iranian delegation in Pakistan. According to reports, a White House official has said that additional policy meetings are taking place at the White House, in which the Vice President will take part. The official, however, has not provided further details, but Vance's departure, which has been the subject of some pretty interesting and some pretty contradictory announcements, was scheduled for Tuesday morning America time, so we have no clarity on that. And the Iranians have said nothing about participating in any kind of negotiations with the Americans in Pakistan. And to give us more updates on this, we're joined by WION's correspondent Susan Tehrani from New York over the phone line. Susan, what do we know at this moment of JD Vance, who is expected to take off, or has he already taken off for a meeting in Pakistan, which the Iranians have not confirmed at all?
Right. So we have confirmation that JD Vance is indeed in Washington, D.C. He has not taken off. At the president's schedule that was set out from the White House early morning, there was a policy meeting due to take place at around 1:30 p.m. Local time, which is now essentially. That meeting has started already. We are told that Vance is now participating in that meeting that was scheduled. And also Pete Hegseth and Marco Rubio are in that meeting as well. Axios is reporting that it is confirmed, of course, that his planned departure to Islamabad was delayed, but only by hours, according to Axios, and that Vance essentially still plans to visit Islamabad. But the problem here is with President Trump saying that he doesn't have an appetite to extend the ceasefire, which is expected to end tonight here, but he said Wednesday evening, which would be tomorrow. Time is of essence, because every hour that Vance spends in Washington is an hour closer to the resumption of hostilities, essentially. So that's why this is so important. But nonetheless, it appears that Vance is going to have this meeting with President Trump. The president is expected to have a public speech at a sporting event, but he may talk about Iran as well. That's later on in the afternoon.
Right. Now, Susan, just to put things in perspective for the timelines that are required for negotiations, back when JCPOA was negotiated, the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, it was negotiated for over 2.5 years before an agreement was eventually arrived at. Now, why is there such an urgency within the Trump administration, it appears, that an agreement has to be struck in a meeting that may or may not even happen? At this point of time, is the Trump administration expecting that the Iranians will effectively surrender to all of America's demands? What is the expectation here?
Well, just judging by what the president said this morning during an interview with CNBC, he said that he's not in a hurry to get a deal. But on the other hand, as you rightly mentioned, it does seem that the president wants to move this along. Some of it has to do with just the way he is. He doesn't have much patience. The other issue is they believe that Iran could do more harm than not the longer that these negotiations continue. And they believe that it gives Iran time to perhaps go back and revisit those missile sites and perhaps work on its nuclear program. So there is a sense of urgency, but remember, there's also the American public who are really, for the majority of the part, not on board with this war. So the longer it drags on, the more the president has to answer to the American people as well. Whether Iran will ultimately, heed to America's maximalist demands, that's very unlikely. But unfortunately, there is talk now that one way or the other, it seems the hostilities may resume if these negotiations in Islamabad don't happen sooner than later.
Indeed, we'll have to wait and watch as to when JD Vance, of course, takes off in that flight, if at all he does, and what the Iranians, of course, have to say about their participation in these proposed negotiations in Islamabad. Thank you very much indeed, Susan Tehrani, for joining us with those updates then. For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.